or MMF poly reading. So if this is your connection dynamic, definitely come through. So I've been wanting to do these readings for a while because I just feel like there's not a lot of readers doing poly readings, which is, a vibe. Okay, so this is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch it. But listen, one of the big things with this connection that you guys have going on is some things had to fall apart so that it could be rebuilt better. Okay. But one of the biggest things that's happening in this connection is that there's not enough inclusivity. Okay. And a big thing that's happening right now is that the divine feminine in the connection is being liberated. But what's also not being seen is that both masculines in the connection are needing space being held to also be liberated from misogyny, from oppression, right? And that oppression is going to come in different ways depending on the person. If that person is identifying in a queer aspect or in a different gender or a different role, then they're going to have a different type of liberation around that oppression, right? Whereas if another person is being liberated from a gender-based discrimination, that is also going to take different spaces to be held, different ways to approach it, right? But the biggest thing right now is to make space for people to say, I need this space being held, and I'm open to receiving, what you need to say so that you can get it out, so that you can process. And no, I'm not your therapist, okay? But I can help you look for one, and but I'm here for you, and I'm here to support you. I also feel like there's another person in this connection who grew up heteronormal, who was very suppressed in bisexuality. And I feel like this person usually takes a back seat, usually seems calm, cool, and collected. They are actually really excitable, this person, but they tend to temper themselves. I feel like this person, they are coming into their own evolution with being able to access their emotions more and being able to talk about how they feel and to set boundaries. And it's very important that people in this connection are listening to what this person says and are respecting boundaries that are being set, because and some of these boundaries may need to be discussed, okay? Because sometimes you can set a boundary that's not really realistic for someone to follow. But without having that conversation, you're not going to be able to come to any mutual conclusion. So I hope that makes sense. And I feel like one of the biggest things that's happening for all of you is you're all going through your own liberation, okay? You're all going through your own sets of liberation. You're all going through your own evolution, okay? And things are happening as they should. But I do feel that that you shouldn't look at people, especially you divine feminine, that you shouldn't look at people just as being sexy, just as being attractive, just like on the physical end of things. Because for whatever reason in this connection, like a big thing that is a gripe right now that's not being talked about is the internalized misogyny that's being projected out to your partners, and what you're expecting of them that isn't realistic for who they are inside. And they're asking for that redefinition. They're asking for that help. They're asking for that assistance. They're asking you to just be real with them. Does that make sense? Like, they're asking you to be in a space to be the divine feminine. I feel like almost sometimes you take on a masculine role, and maybe that's because some of your partners present a little bit more femininely, but I feel like you need to kind of take some time to assess, what energy do you want to be in? It's okay to be a divine feminine in a masculine presenting position, but is that what you really want, or is that what you've been taught to be? Right? And it's okay for all of you to present differently energetically and in your roles in the relationship, but it's to find balance and for you're not overpowering each other in the process. It's not helpful to have one feminine presenting male, one very masculine presenting male, and one very masculine presenting female, and then you're all having spats because one person, although is a masculine, is presenting feminine. That doesn't mean that their masculinity is not going to come out in masculine, like, aggressive situations. And so then you end up being in a bromance instead of in a romance. Does that make sense? Like, I need you to, like, figure out what sits best for you, what feels right, because your energy is very wishy-washy and they don't know how to provide whatever it is that you need, whether that's emotional support, whether that's physical support, whether that's financial support, whatever it is that your connection is set up like. You're asking for a lot, but you're not leaving a lot of room for people to take over the responsibilities that either you're complaining about or that you're asking them to fulfill because you're already doing it. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna need you to relinquish some of those responsibilities in the connection as well. Okay, 244 on the clock. I also seen 202, 818, and 759. So those may be important to you. Now, a really big thing that I want to talk about is this. Okay, no matter what, this connection can work and is working and is rebuilding, but you must remember that it is a group effort. And there is one person in this connection that would like to add another person to this connection. And I feel that this person has been slowly saying it over and over and over again, that they don't feel like there is enough room for expansion. I feel like it's going toward being like a quapple. Is that what it's called? Because I don't know what it's called, but it's like basically like a quad. Is it a quad? I'm trying. Okay. But I feel like it's going more toward polycule where you have multiple partners. And I feel like some of you are interested in that and some of you aren't. And those conversations need to be had. And it's not a conversation that needs to be forced. Wait for the opportunity when spirit gives you the opportunity to bring it up and to talk about it because they bring it up. But right now, you're hearing this message. So right now, I need you to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally because whichever one of these people that you are, especially if you're the person who wants to go out and explore more, that needs to be discussed in a very emotionally stable and safe space. 828 on the clock, because especially if this was a already preconceived closed situation, or if it's just been a while since all of you have been together that you haven't stepped out to explore anyone else. And I think it's very important that that discussion is made before going out and doing that. Just like anything in relationships, communication is everything. And you can really fuck up a good situation if you're not communicating accurately. So definitely take some time to figure out how you feel about things. Take some time to figure out what makes you feel good, what makes you feel whole, and what more do you want and why do you want it? Are you wanting it because you're avoiding your own healing through this transformational stage, through this transmutation, through this alchemical process of you elevating yourself? Or do you want it because you feel that you have more love to give? And I would even suggest that wait until you are through this transition where all of you are leveling up your own perception of yourself, coming into balance with this new self that you all are shifting into before bringing someone into that situation, because it's hectic as fuck. Now, I'll never reach out to you in the DM, but if you want to book with me, you can go to thealchemicaloracle.com. Bye, baby.